Test one, test two, check.
Everybody stand up. This meeting is being recorded.
It
Oh,
is.
Oh, ho, ho.
how come?
Always is.
Okay, everyone. Is everybody there? We got
Yeah.
some stragglers coming in, so we're going to go ahead and get started, though. First thing up is, what is this? The Invocation by Mr. Jarvis.
Please join me in prayer. God, we thank you for the gift of your presence, which brings meaning to our lives and lifts us beyond selfish and momentary goals. Let our Rotary Fellowship reflect genuine respect and concern for one another. May our club reach out to be of real service to the many others whom you love. Give grace to those who lead us and grant us all peace. Amen.
Okay, please, the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of all the things we think, say, or do. Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you very much, and we'll have
Amen.
breakfast. Those of you on the Zoom, thank you for joining us this morning. And we'll get back to you here when we get done with breakfast, okay? Thank you.
Cheers.
Morning, Dave.
Hey,
Well, this is kind of fun. This is like being a voyeur. Yeah. I feel like I'm a peeping Tom.
There you go. Is this your first
Oh,
time, Aunt?
This is the first time I Zoomed when they were meeting in person. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
So
look
I
at the
did
George
turn
there.
the speaker off, so and I will stop recording so you can all chat.
Thank you. No, let's go ahead and get started here today. Do we have any visiting Rotarians or any guests other than our guest speaker? I don't see anyone. So we'll continue on with the introduction of a new Paul Harris person. I'll let Roger take care of that.
Thank you, sir. I've had the good fortune of being in Rotary for over 40 years, and I've visited Rotary projects in Honduras, Ecuador, the Dominican Republic, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, and the Philippines. And I can tell you that of all the nonprofit civic service organizations and charitable arms, the Rotary Foundation is rated among the top 5 in the entire world. And that is because contributions to the Rotary Foundation go to programs, not administrative costs. The administrative cost of administering the Rotary Foundation is among the lowest in the world. And I can't help but think when you get up in the morning and flip a light switch and turn on a hot shower, that you can't help but think that you're among the luckiest people in the world by sheer chance of birth. You are living in the greatest country in the world and the most generous and the most compassionate country in the world. So it is a great honor for me to acknowledge that Connie Geiger has received a Paul Harris Fellow from Rotary International. She is the 33rd member of our club to be a Paul Harris Fellow. This club leads the district in the number of people that are Paul Harris Society members, with 5, soon to be 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. But I can tell you that there's a significant tax benefit for those of you that have sold businesses in the last year or two that may consider a commitment to the Rotary Foundation. But our club also has one major donor, and I will not embarrass him by calling him out personally, but he's a past president and his initials are GF. So thank you, Gary. And with that, would you please acknowledge Connie Geiger for becoming a Paul Harris Fellow?
Thank you very much, Roger. Congratulations, Connie. Thank you. The next we have is any items for the President's Anniversary Drive dinner coming up in May. Do we have anything? No? All right. One of the announcements that Ann asked me to make. Oh, what's so funny over there, girls? All right. Well, anyway, Ian had asked that we make an announcement about having the President Pantry items to them by, I think it's May or March 21st.
April
April
21st.
21st. Okay, I'm sorry. But so if you guys are traveling with spring break or doing any other kind of traveling, make sure that you get your items in and get them to Ann so that we can address that properly. Weekly drawing, Tammy. Why don't we have Ace? Oh, no.
You want the dog?
Oh, Ace, do you want to grab a ticket for us? 446.
Who's got it? Hey, Gary France. Ta-da. Again, the winner for a very short period of time. All right, let's see. Sergeant at Arms, do we have Pat is going to sub for Greg today?
Let's start with pins and badges. Anybody not wearing a pin or a badge, throw in a buck. Oh my, thank you. Otherwise, Greg was going to have to pay a buck when he comes back next week. If you're seated at a table that has no women present, take a deep breath. You're off the hook. For all of you seated at tables with women, throw in a buck. Each of you. Happy sad dollars? Excuse me? Throw in another buck then. What are you sad about?
Not very nice this morning.
The guys that are seated at tables with no women think I'm fine.
I'm sad that I recruited you to take over sergeant duties.
It's called payback.
Actually, I'm happy. It'll be good. I have just a happy dollar or a thank you dollar. Jeff is filling in for me for greeter duties next week. I cannot be here. So thank you, Jeff, for filling in.
Roger?
I'm happy to report that the Noon Club has recruited its first high school student journalist. She's a Hispanic young woman from Wausau, Newman, and is excited about writing stories about Rotary programs and some of the positive activities at Newman High School. So we're on the way.
I have $5 happy dollars to start the initial Paul Harris Fund for Britt Samuels. Welcome to the club, and you've got your first $5 in the donation. And I have happy dollars to celebrate my 46th wedding anniversary last week.
I have a happy dollar for a new grandbaby. Colson Bradley Oberbeck was born 6 weeks premature at 3 pounds 7 ounces, and he's doing great. He's home, came home on Valentine's Day.
I have a happy dollar for our guest Lonnie Rethhalber, and his K9 Asa is here to talk to us about K9 Patriots. So looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Lonnie.
I've got a happy $10 after 2 years of being grounded. The Never Forgotten Honor Flight is taking to the air in May and June of this year. So we're back in business.
Anyone else?
I've got one.
I'll throw in $5. It's glad to be back. I was gone for a few weeks. We had a trip to Puerto Rico, took the kids there, which was amazing. Had a great time, got to see a rainforest and some cool beaches. And I'll throw out one of those dollars, a sad dollar, because we didn't get a chance to do any shopping for the president's anniversary dinner.
You shop local.
I have 5 happy dollars. I think I've mentioned before, we're working with an Afghan family here, and it's coming together very nicely. There may be a chance that he has a job within the week, and he's happy about that. So we're getting there. And then the little boy's going to school for the first time next Tuesday. It'll be the very first time he's ever been to a school of any kind. So he's going to be going to Stettin. Yep. Yeah. So there's 5 happy dollars.
I've got 8 happy dollars. $1 for each of the 8 Rotarians from the Wausau Early Birds who attended last weekend's One Rotary Summit by Zoom. We had 61 participants, and of that, the Wausau Early Birds was the best represented club in the district. And for that, I really thank you. For that, I want to say thank you. I'm really grateful, and I hope those of you who are there gain some interesting tidbits to bring home to our club to put into practice and make our club an even better and even stronger club than it already is. So thank you for your participation.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. We have some more.
Generous group today.
I've got 5 happy dollars for spending a week in Sanibel, Florida last week, where it was nice and warm. And I have to tell you that I did pick up a little print to bring back for the donation, and it's in the mail, so to speak. So hopefully next week it'll be here.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. The just one other reminder to everyone, if they would send notes to Chris Connolly and Michael Wright at Midwest Communications, because the support they give us during the 12 days of Christmas is phenomenal, and it's been much probably based on our results. It's a lot of it's due to the promotion that we get from them. So please, if you get a chance, send them a little note. And that's all I have for, unless somebody else has any other announcements. Oh, Jane, I'm sorry. Yes, I forgot that. There was another announcement I was going to make for you, but I didn't have to.
Thanks, Jim. Real quick, I did attend the meeting on Saturday, as did Jeff and Lee and Craig. It was wonderful. Wanted to mention to you that if you ever want to attend any of those meetings, and especially if they're offered by Zoom, let me know. We actually were at the landing. So Kate Florick let us set up some time there, and it went really, really well. I just wanted to share with you the priorities as they were announced at the meeting. Increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. One other thing we're going to start today is member introductions. I was made aware that, our new people come in and we learn a little bit about them, but our new people never learn a lot about us. So we have this handy dandy little box, and we're going to draw a name, and I'm going to just ask you to stand up and maybe do 2 or 3 minutes of what's going on in your life, anything you'd like new members to know about you. So cover up, Mr. President, draw a name, and we'll hope they're here. Read it.
She glued them together. Dick Jarvis.
Well, Dick, give us a little bit of information about you.
Thank you, Gene. I've been in Rotary since about 1995. Past president here. I'm retired. I was a financial advisor with Ameriprise Financial for about 23 years. I started my career way back in 1973 as a loan officer, lending money to farmers, and graduated to personal financial planning. I'm married to my wife, Mary, and we've been married for, I think we're going on 45 years this year. We've got two sons. Chris is married to Julia. They live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they've got two little girls. Susanna is 2.5 and Margaret is about 3 months, and I get to babysit her all next week. So that's going to be a fun week for me. I volunteer with the Never Forgotten Honor Flight. I currently serve as the treasurer, and I'm in charge of the mail call portion of that. And we're all so excited to be flying again this spring. We live on a small farm. I call it a play farm in Rib Mountain. My wife has 4 horses. I tell Pat Pillard all the time that her goal is to get to 2. And we're at 4 right now with 2 of them pregnant. So that means 6. So I don't know where the 2 come from, but that's what her goal is. And she's sticking to it. It's real easy to sell a horse until they're born. And then it becomes more difficult. I've really enjoyed Rotary. I've enjoyed all the people here. It's such a good group. And I hope you all get a chance to do this very same thing in the next few weeks.
I hope you enjoy that. The plan is we'll continue to do this every week. And so all of our old members and new members get an update on what's happening in our lives. 2 other things quick to say. There is, from the meeting we talked about on Saturday about doing member surveys, and there are surveys on your table. And if you would take the time to there's only 5 short questions. So if you would take the time to fill them out, you don't have to sign your name, fold them in half, and I'll retrieve them from the table. The other quick thing that I wanted to mention is when you first become a Rotarian, it takes a few months for you to get the Rotary magazine. And so I was wondering if some of you think about it, when you get your Rotary magazine, if you wouldn't mind bringing it to the meeting, and we'll just set them out. And if our new members would like to share, to just get a sense until they get their own membership, how big Rotary is and the international impact that we have. So if you could help me with that, that'd be great.
Thanks, Gene. Thank you very much. Yes, that was an idea that came forward. I had mentioned it before, but it came up again at the meeting they were at on Saturday. And it's important for all of us to have a little better understanding of what our club members are doing and what they're going through. So when you share, just please share what you're comfortable with. And Dick, you did a great job. I appreciate that very much for being the first. Thank you. Mobile meals for this week, Nate. Okay. All right. Very good. Next week we have mobile meals is which team? Dick, you got? Oh, next week. Yep. Next week. All right. Without further ado, let's introduce our program. Mike.
Okay, so I've read somebody else's bio. Looks like I have to brush up on my own. So today it gives me great pleasure to introduce Lonnie Rethhaber and K9 Asa, our new friend. She's a sweetheart of a dog. Lonnie has owned and trained dogs since he could walk. He has owned and trained Dobermans, German wire-haired pointers, Huskies, 3 wolf hybrids, beagles, and has totally fallen in love with the German Shepherd breed. He has been involved in the sport of Schutzhund over a decade and has attended numerous seminars in obedience, police, and protection dogs and tracking. He holds a current membership to Schutzhund USA, professional premium membership in the Association of Professional Dog Trainers. He holds a certification through Schutzhund USA for entry-level helper, entry-level track layer. He has titled 4 dogs and is currently training a dog that he hopes will take him to the regional and national level competitions. The culmination of Lanny's military experience, management experience, and dog training experience has made Patriot Canine an excellent fit. He continues to work on all programs, continuously evolving them into what our veterans need to help them succeed with their service dogs. Lonnie has been working with Patriot Canines of Wisconsin since February of 2019. He became involved originally with his former position as operations manager for Central Wisconsin-based trucking company. And in reading his bio, he's logged over 2 million miles as a truck driver and has also been in management. And he lives here in Wausau on the southeast side. And welcome Lonnie and Asa to tell us about Patriot Canine.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me here. Good morning. As Mike said, my name is Lonnie Rethaber. I'm the executive director of Patriot Canines of Wisconsin. I started here as a volunteer 3 years ago. We did a fundraiser for my previous company. We're a veteran-owned, veteran-operated company here in Schofield. We just started running out of places to help. We've done the Man of Honor, the Honor Flight, and things like and other local veterans organizations. And then we found Patriot Canines, and I'm like, Patriot Canines, I've never heard of them. I went and met with the founder, Sarah Tuitt, sat and interviewed her. And I'm like, I love this thing. This is something I need to be involved in. And I started volunteering in February of 2019. By November of 2019, I was their first hired employee. Patriot Canines started off as a 100% volunteer-based organization. But as it grew, we needed somebody there to run the day-to-day operations. Since then, we have grown threefold. We're a major service dog trainer in the Midwest. We're actually the only one in Wisconsin doing exactly what we do. And I chose to work here because I'm a veteran as well, 10 years of military service. And I've lost several friends to veteran suicide. And I decided I needed to do something, and this seemed to fit for me because I have a career in dogs and competition sports. Sorry, she's still in training. Actually, yeah. I forgot I have a PowerPoint, sorry. I started here to help save veterans and reduce veteran suicide. That's very important to me. Most people don't understand that veterans coming home from war have a hard time reassociating with civilian life. And I fit that criteria as well. It took me probably over 20 years to figure that out. And the dog pictured here currently is Max. That dog saved my life. Without him, I wouldn't probably be here right now. He was not a service dog. At the time I started working with Max, I didn't know what service dogs were. We created a really good bond, and it started to come out to where I couldn't go anywhere without him. If I had to go even to the neighbors for a cookout, I couldn't do that. And then I started realizing that there's more than just me having those feelings. 10 years ago, I would not be standing up in front of you right now. I wouldn't even have came to this morning breakfast. And that dog empowered me to be able to do that. And then I found out about Patriot Canines and what their mission was. And I decided that this is what I needed to be involved in. Patriot Canines is a 501c3, and we're located right here in Wausau, Wisconsin. Our mission is, I forgot. I have a PowerPoint. Sorry, it's the first time I ever did a PowerPoint. So you guys have to bear with me. PK9 Asa is our ambassador for service dogs. She is 1 year of age. She has one more year of training before she'll become a full-fledged service dog. However, she will never be a service dog because she will not be placed with somebody with a disability. She will remain with Patriot Canines as our ambassador. She currently lives with me with 3 other German Shepherds. And she's a great part of our organization. Our mission, Patriot Canines of Wisconsin provides training and education to both veteran and service members and service dog candidates together to create the highest quality service dog team at no cost to disabled veterans, active duty members impacted by military-related post-traumatic stress injury, traumatic brain injury, and military sexual trauma. Our goal is helping veterans win the war against suicide, depression, and anxiety by empowering them with the use of service dog. Veterans learn to train and care for their own service dog and regain an independence in civilian life and a sense of self-mastery. Patriot Canines of Wisconsin is a member of the Association of Service Dog Providers for Military Veterans. We have been a member for 2 years and we are in our accreditation year. We are getting our final audit in June and we hope to get our national accreditation at that time. All of our members, all of our trainers are members of Association of Professional Dog Trainers of America and are accredited through that organization as well. After all trainers are members of the Association of Professional Dog Trainers of America currently have combined experience of 30 years of training. We have volunteer trainers, we have paid for employee trainers, and we have a good group of volunteers that just help us with our puppy raising program as puppy raisers and foster homes. With our program, there's a lot of people look at our program and think we just train dogs, and it's a lot more than that. We have so many programs within our program to get that final product of a dog trained for a veteran. We also use the community model of training and not the national model. The community model of training is where we train the dog and the veteran together. But we also kind of use the national model, which is your normal kennel trained dog that's trained for 2 years with a professional trainer, then handed off. We kind of combine those over the last 2 years. Now we raise our puppies for 1 year with foster homes, our puppy raiser program. And they train with us weekly, and we sometimes more than weekly, sometimes in the middle of the night, I'm getting phone calls for training issues, behavior issues. They train with us for that first year, and then we match them with a veteran candidate. Once they're matched with a veteran candidate, we then spend another 6 months to 1 year of training with that veteran and that dog. We get our dogs from many different areas. We purchase them. We purchase puppies, well-bred dogs. There's a criteria that we follow. Dogs must have hip and elbow x-rays done. They must have a whole bunch of medical certifications on the dogs. Sorry, I've never followed a PowerPoint before, and it's just really, I have to speak from the heart. I apologize. It's not working for me. Our canine acquisition program consists of purchasing dogs. We also rescue dogs still currently. We purchase adult dogs, and we get a lot of dogs donated. I don't really like the donated dogs because donated dogs sometimes have a lot of issues because I call them backyard bred dogs. A lot of times there's genetic defaults in those dogs. I'm looking for dogs that are genetically prepositioned to be a service dog, like Asa. I've worked with Asa's family lines for 6 generations back. So I know her what's been put in that dog. Most of our dogs that we purchase are between $1,500 and $3,000. Most people's jaw drop when they hear that, but to get a well-bred dog, there's a lot that goes into that breeding. The breeders spend a lot of money and time and effort to get that quality dog to breed. German Shepherds have to be breed surveyed and titled for us to purchase them. Golden Retrievers and Labs, we also purchase. I'm looking for dogs that have genetic preposition for service dog work. We're currently working with 3 lab breeders that have service dog genealogy in the background of the stud and the females. Donated dogs, we do take them. We do a bark test, which is a temperament test on those dogs. They have to pass that. It's a very rigorous test, especially for adult dogs. I usually don't know what the background on those dogs are, so I really push the dog's buttons. I am a certified helper or a decoy, the guy that gets all dressed up in a suit and gets bit. So I know how to bring that out of a dog, and if I bring that out of any of our dogs coming in for service dog work, it's not allowed in our in the program. Veteran-owned dogs are another huge resource for our program. The VA currently is telling a lot of veterans, hey, you need a service dog. But they don't give them any more information on that because currently service dogs are not provided by the VA. So the veteran goes out on this long journey of looking up on the internet, what's a service dog do? What can I do for it? My friend's got a service dog. I have a service dog. So they go out and say, oh, I like a German Shepherd. And they buy a German Shepherd puppy. 12 weeks old, it's tearing their house up. They're like, what do I do now? I don't know how to train this dog. I thought I did, not doing it. Then they find us and they call us. And that started happening about 50% of the time. So I created a veteran program for veteran-owned dogs. We bring those dogs in. They follow the same temperament test as any dogs that we get, other than the breeding background. They're allowed to come in, temperament tests, and we send them through. If they're under 1 year of age, we have the puppy raiser program where they train again, just like the foster homes do with the puppies, for 1 year. And then they go through a 6-month boot camp. The 6-month boot camp, or 6-week boot camp is obedience, and with the end result being the AKC CGC title, which is the Canine Good Citizen. After they graduate that program, they can run into our service dog program. And that's another 24 weeks. Our veterans need to be committed to at least training for 30 weeks minimum. If they have a puppy under 1 year of age, you're talking 1 year and 9 months to 2 years of time. They have to be committed for that. Sorry. Service dog program consists of 24 weeks. Therapy dog, therapy, I apologize. Our course is 24 weeks long and is taught for anxiety alert, self-harm interruption, deep pressure therapy, crowd control, and public access skills. Our veteran students are taught ADA law, service dog etiquette, and how to deal with public, and ultimately how to train their dogs and maintain that training. After they graduate our program, we have an aftercare program as well. Once our veterans become a part of Patriot Canines, they're a part of Patriot Canines for life. We hope to have them become part of our family. We have a family atmosphere, and most of our veterans, when they graduate, they do continue to come back. A graduate is allowed to come to any class that they want, but they also have to come back 6 months postgraduate, 1 year, 2 year, 4 years, 6 years, and 8 years for recertification. Our recertification process consists of temperament testing the dog. Sometimes we haven't seen the dog for a while, so we still temperament test. Task training, is the dog still know the tasks that we taught? Body blocking is a big one for veterans. Crowd control. Veterans don't like people getting too close, so we teach the dogs to do a buffer. I call it the service dog pocket. The dog works around the veteran 360 and keeps people back. And we actually teach them, if somebody pushes on the dog, that they stand still and they don't move or come back to the veteran. We allow the veteran to take a step back from the dog to allow that space to be provided. Also, anxiety alert. The dog has to be able to sense cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that we give off when we have anxiety, anger, and the dog has to be able to alert the veteran to that. Before that dog graduates the program, in most cases, the dog is sensing the cortisol before the veteran even knows something's going on. I always teach our veterans to trust their dog. In most cases, we're on week 13 to 14. I start to get a bunch of calls from that group. Hey, I was at class today and the dog is nudging me, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. And they're like, Lonnie's voice came into my head and it's like, get out here. I trust my dog. So they go outside and all of a sudden the anxiety hits. The blood pressure goes up, heart rate increases, start sweating, cold sweats. And they're like, oh my God, this is actually working. I just had a guy talk to me the other day, said he was getting really angry. And he walked in the house and all of a sudden his dog comes up and gives deep pressure therapy to him instantly. And he's never experienced that before, and it calmed him down instantly. Deep pressure therapy is what we teach after the anxiety alert, which allows the dog and the veteran to calm down. The dog will put pressure on. Most of you seen me when you walked in the door today with the dog sitting between my legs. That's one position that we teach the dogs, which is post, where the dog gives pressure to the legs and it actually keeps people calm. Sitting on your feet, also sitting in a chair, the dog lays across the lap, or veterans can lay down on the ground. If you ever go to a store and you see somebody laying down on the ground with a dog on them, they're receiving deep pressure therapy, which is more and more common now. That effect of deep pressure therapy takes about 20 minutes and it lasts for 2 hours. We also teach veterans to use deep pressure therapy to preload their anxiety before they go somewhere that's going to cause anxiety. Like out in their car, they put the dog on their lap, on their chest, and that lasts for 2 hours. So it helps keep them calm. I always talk about levels of anxiety. Most of our veterans are at 100. You can't think when you're at 100 anxiety. We want the dogs to at least bring them down into whatever is manageable for them. We're all going to have anxiety. It's never going to go away. But what level will help you function in your day-to-day, or what tasks you have to perform for that day? And most of them say about 30%, and that's what we try to do. This is not a cure. We talk to the veterans as this is just another tool in your toolbox, along with therapy, medication, family support, group support. It's just another toolbox another tool in your toolbox to help you get through your day and help you in your recovery. I have experienced veterans so far, even though I've been only involved for 3 years, that have said, I don't use my service dog no more. I don't have to. That would be me too. Max helped me for a good 8 years to the point where I don't need to have a dog with me everywhere I go anymore. So it has had that effect. Also, the one main effect that I see and that almost every veteran tells me is what I told you earlier. I wouldn't be here without this dog. If that dog doesn't do anything but save that person's life, that's worth it to me, because it's a constant. We have 2 mental health therapists that work with our program as well. And they're like, I can give therapy to a patient 1 time a week, and it lasts for maybe 2 hours after my therapy session. But that dog is with them constantly, 24/7, a constant reminder of, hey, there's somebody that cares. It's only a dog. It's only a dog, but in a lot of cases, that dog means more to them than anybody else. And they cannot function without that dog being present. Patriot Canines currently has graduated 50 canine teams since our conception in the fall of 2017, with 20 of those teams being in the 2021 alone. Our goal for 2022 is 22 teams. Veterans in memory of 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. If current class students finish this course, we'll have graduated 17 teams before June of this year. So we're well on our way for our mission. Our program is humming along. We're currently training 27 dogs. At any given time, we're training between 25 and 35 dogs. Our classes are Monday through Friday. We currently running 2 puppy classes, 3 service dog classes. We are adding a prison program with Red Granite State Correctional Institute that's just now starting to happen. We're placing puppies in that program in March. Hopefully the first week of March, I have 5 new puppies coming to be placed in that program. We're going to work with inmates and staff to train those dogs for that first year. It's a new program that's been very successful in other parts of the state and country. And Red Granite actually came to us to have us do this program. And the prisoners that are involved currently are very, very excited. There's 2 prisoners per dog. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Also, we are located here in Wausau. We have a 6,000 square foot facility on Stewart Avenue in the West Side Industrial Park. We have a training area, kitchen for public access. We have a hospital style room set up, mock-up rooms that we do for stores, offices, checkout areas, a bank teller area. We just mock our whole training area up so that the veterans get used to doing these things with their dog before we actually start public access. We do 9 weeks of public access, taking the veterans around our community here. So a lot of times you might see us out there. It'll be a group of dogs in a store. Sometimes we get dirty looks because sometimes it's their first day out. Some of these veterans, I have one veteran that has not been out into a store in 10 years. Never told me that. All of a sudden having a huge panic attack. I walk around a corner and her dog is nudging her in the stomach. It's nudging. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm having a panic attack. I'm like, I can see that. I was like, what are you going to do about that? She's like, I think I'm going to go get some deep pressure therapy. I was like, would you like to do that here or out in your car? She goes out in my car. She goes out to her car. I walked her out to her car. She gets in her car, puts the dog on her lap. I say, I'll come check on you in about 10 minutes, see how you're doing. I walk back inside, but before 10 minutes is up, she's back inside. She's like, that worked. I'm like, that lady currently has gotten married and started her own business. So that's the effects of having a service dog. She also was a former Miss Veteran USA. And she has now started competing in beauty pageants again, which to me, that's the most scary thing ever to do. But they allow her to take her dog up on stage with her. So I thought that was really, it's a great success story. We do rely on the support of our community and foundations and businesses locally. Without our community here, we would not be able to do our mission. The outpouring of support in this community has been very, very humbling to me. I never thought there was this many people in this community that cared about people. If I would have known that 20 years ago, I wouldn't have had to go through everything I went through. And I do share that with our veterans, how many people support us right here. And our veterans do come from all over the state and surrounding states, and currently have one student from Boston. Most of the other organizations in this country are 2 to 5 year waiting period. She tried to get in several places and they told her that, and she called me and she's like, if I relocate there, would you bring me in your program? I was like, absolutely. So she is currently going through the course. So that's our furthest student currently is Boston, but we've had Iowa, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Madison, Fox Valley. We've had a lot in the beginning from Wausau, and I'm getting some new students from the Wausau area now too, but for a long period of time, they were all coming from Toma, Milwaukee, Madison. So 2 to 3 hours a week, they travel and commit for sometimes up to 2 years. So it's very committed on their parts. We also have a good group of volunteers. I want to end with mentioning them. Volunteer trainers, volunteer office staff, our board of directors, very involved. Without them, we would not be here as well. It takes a community, it takes a team to accomplish the mission that we have set forth in front of us. And without them, puppy raisers, we would not, all volunteers, we would not be able to do what we do. My conclusion is, I thank you for your time, and I want to leave you with one thing, is how do you interact with a service dog in public? Anybody know? You don't. That is the biggest drawback to having a service dog for our veterans, is people surround them and want to see their dog and touch their dog and ask them what's wrong with them and all that stuff. They're just trying to get their groceries. If you see a service dog, just leave them alone. Say, hey, nice dog. Thanks for your service, and walk on by. You don't ask somebody why they're in a wheelchair. So don't ask somebody why they have a service dog. Keep it simple. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Close on time. Okay. Mind taking a couple of? Questions?
Yes, sir.
What misconceptions do people in the general public have about this program?
Most people think that we're training emotional support dogs or therapy dogs. There is a huge difference. The most support dog is just a dog that makes you feel good. A therapy dog is a dog that's trained to go to a group of people and make them feel good. Or a service dog is a dog that's trained, task trained specifically for somebody's disability. You have to have a disability in order to have a service dog. That's the huge misconception, is they think we're training therapy dogs, and I have to correct people often with that.
Many times it's not a physical.
Exactly. Our veterans are all psychiatric issues. We do very little mobility training. I do mobility training. If a veteran comes for psychiatric issues and they have mobility issues as well, I will task train that dog for some mobility. Retrieve a phone, open doors, turn on lights. We had one veteran with a walker that couldn't, if he dropped his keys, he couldn't bend over. So we taught the dog to pick up his keys or whatever he wanted. He could point to it and say, bring, and the dog would bring it to him. Exactly, it's a misconception. And we have our veterans challenged all the time, because you cannot go into public with a dog, right? But with a service dog, you have public access rights through the ADA. So, and they can challenge you, and they challenge them. They look like me. I have PTSD as well, but I don't have it to a disabling effect. These people that come through our program have to have a physician's letter stating that they have a disability. And when they walk into a store and they say, is that your service dog? And they're like, yeah, well, you don't look disabled. What's a disability look like? How do you know? Are you a doctor? So our veterans are challenged with that daily. And we do a lot of training with them. We do mock-ups. I become the questioning public person, and I really push their buttons, and I push them so hard that I make them mad at me, which I've tried to do. I always talk about a door. Don't let me in your door, because when I step into your house, I'm going to shut the door behind me. So we teach them to say, no, thanks for understanding. I don't care what they ask you. No, thanks for understanding, because I tell them they don't owe anybody an explanation why they have a service dog. A lot of people say, can I pet your dog? No, he's working. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, he's my service dog. Well, why do you have a service dog? You don't look disabled. What happened to you? Well, I'm a veteran. Oh, what war were you in? What happened to you? It starts all these questions. They open the door and let that person in. All of a sudden they're freaking out, and they're just, anxiety level goes through the roof. And so we do a lot of training with them on how to handle those situations.
Anyone else? We have
Can I,
two more.
Lanny, Jim?
Go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Lanny, I'm Wendy. I'm Sarah Tuitt's sister. I've enjoyed listening to all of your updates and things. When she brought the program to the community, I just thought it was wonderful, and I'm enjoying hearing. Thank you for being with us today. One thing, unless I'm wrong, one thing I think it's important for people to know about this program is that the service dogs are free to the veterans versus, is that true?
That's correct. It's the program is 100% free for the veteran. The only thing that they have to do is be there for training.
And they can pay, veterans can pay a lot of money in other programs for dogs, like thousands and thousands of dollars. It's prohibitive.
The average psychiatric service dog is between $20,000 and $30,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for your work, Lanny. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Wendy.
Is the German Shepherd the best breed to use, or is that just your
Actually,
choice?
no, it's not. The German Shepherd is pre-positioned to be a guardy dog. We deal with a lot of that. It's not that the dog is mean, but it's not the best dog. The Golden Retriever to me is the best dog to be a service dog, or a lab. Golden Retrievers are very hard to come by. So are German Shepherds. However, I am very well networked in the nation with German Shepherds because of doing protection sports. So I have a lot of good friends that are breeders, and so I'm able to get them. I like the German Shepherd the best. I can handle a German Shepherd, but most normal people cannot handle a German Shepherd well
The Department of Defense actually says the best dog to train for a service dog is a female yellow lab golden mix. There's a lot of scientific studies out there on that. So, but we try to stick with the labs, German Shepherds and golden retrievers for purchases.
Is there any others? Maybe you can stick around if anybody has any particular questions of him. We appreciate you doing this today.
All right, thank you, sir.
This is just a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, I think unless anybody else has a question or anything else to bring before the club, meeting adjourned.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you later. Thanks so much.